Hello. I'm sorry it's been such a long time since the last video, but for the past, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks since the last one, I've done nothing but cycle down here first thing, paint like a mad thing all day, and then cycle home when it's dark. So there's just been no time for filming or editing. But I finally got to the end, apart from a tiny bit of tidying up here and there and putting the windows back in. It's all done. At the end of the video, I'll take you for a walk around the boat and show you what I've done. And in the meantime, this is what I've been doing the last few weeks. I've had to keep a list of where I was with the primer and undercoat because I was totally losing count of where I was. And the list tells me, when I fill in the last few, that I've actually finished the undercoat and I can start on the colours. Woohoo! Well, here we are on week, I don't know, 7, and I'm finally putting on the colours. I won't show you the whole boat just yet because it's all still taped up and I've got a little way to go, but it's such a relief to have got to this point in the paint job. Each of these colours has to, well, I have 3 coats on each one, and I have to sand in between, so I can't really do them 1, 2, 3 like that because they don't dry quite enough to do it that quickly. So I can only put a pair of colour on at a time because of the taping, so the whole colour process with stripes takes a long time. But today I started filling in the blanks on the last underglaze, and I'm putting on the mauve and the lime green and another 2 coats on each, and the sides will all be done. Once the sides are finished, I've got to do the bow and the stern, and they'll need sanding down first, 3 coats on, and the main colour running along there is going to be the lime green again. So that's the sort of base colour, and it's the frame that's holding all the colours together. Then I'll go back, finish the roof, finish the gunnels, and it will be done. So I'm hoping that's going to be by the end of next week because the scaffolder is agitating for his gear back, and I can't really go on longer than that. I've been lucky because the storms have stopped and the weather's become mild, and we've not had so much rain or wind. It's still coming in every 3 or 4 days, but it's been fine. And it's fine here with either rain or wind, but it's when I have the 2 together, it sort of flicks in and doesn't really help matters. But I'm getting there. I'm enjoying the colours that I'm putting on. It was the right choice for me, and it's going to be really nice when I get to the point where I can pull off all the masking tape and show it in all its glory. There's been a couple of little problems I've had to sort out. So down here along this little patch, one of the lads who was taking the primer off for me got a bit enthusiastic and took off some of the 2 parts that was on the bottom of the boat. It's a slight problem. I wasn't sure what to do about it, so I've put on primer and undercoat, and I'm going to just touch it up with a satin black hammerite, which will do for the time being. When I next get the bottom of the boat done, I'll have to take that back to metal again because 2-part and paint don't mix. But I couldn't really think of any other solution for the time being because you can't buy that tiny quantity of 2-part just to patch up. I'm sure it'll be fine. The other problem I had was along this handrail here. I originally put a coat of the dark blue underglaze on, not underglaze, that's my pottery talking, undercoat on. And this undercoat up here is designed for the raddle paint, but here I wanted this gloss to go on, so I then put the right undercoat on this, but unfortunately there was a slight adherence problem which I didn't know until I started taking the masking tape off. So along this top handrail I had to go along and key up the areas that are pulled off and repaint with the undercoat. But you know, it's all a learning experience, and I shall know that for another time. You can't mix types of paint. Well, sometimes you can, and sometimes you obviously can't. As you can imagine, I've got through reams of masking tape, and I found out very quickly that you have to use a very good quality masking tape. So I've been buying this clean edge one, which is £6 a roll, and just yesterday I used 3 rolls just for 2 colours, so I've got through maybe 10 rolls of masking tape so far. The other thing I found is that when I've used a brush, like I had to, under this there is a golden colour, and I used a brush for that, but it does seep a tiny bit under the tape even when you've pushed it down. Whereas if you use a roller, you can sort of roll it over these edges and it doesn't seem to seep underneath. So in this case with stripes, the roller was my friend. Now the bow and the stern are not going to be striped. So what I'm doing is picking out various colours from the stripes and then just doing the panels in different colours. So I've got the mauve on the back here. The doors that go on there will probably be green, and then I'll probably put the Delft blue in there with different colours for the locker seats. So it's going to be bright if nothing else. Along the top here I've got all the doors and some of the windows and deck plates and so on, and they're all ready to go. They've all got their undercoat on. They're just waiting because I figured I'd get the main bulk of the boat done first, and if the weather does come in, then I can always do these sections inside because we're not staying on it at the moment. H has just come back from a knee replacement op, so I'm here by myself and consequently not staying down here at night. So I can, if I need to, put some of these indoors to paint them. I wouldn't use. Well, here we are at the end of the video, and before I take you for a walk around the boat, I'll just tell you about the job itself and the cost. So I decided to do the boat myself because it costs on average for a 57-foot long boat that has to be taken back to bare metal and then painted. It costs around 8 to 11 grand, which is not money that we had. So I figured I could do it cheaper myself, and I knew it was going to be a difficult job, and it was more difficult than I thought, but isn't it always the way? I think that it would be better to be able to go into a dry dock or a sort of proper fixed covering, but I didn't have that option. So part of the cost was the scaffolding and the tarps that I had put around the boat. That came to 2,000, so it was quite a big amount of money, but it did make the job possible down here. I wanted to start the job at the beginning of September, but it was actually really hot then, and so when the scaffolding finally got put up in mid-December, we then just had a series of storms come through. So it hasn't been ideal, but it has been on the whole fairly mild, so at least I managed to get it done before it was cold. It's actually getting a bit too cold now, and I can tell because the last few bits of paint are taking a long time to go off. But it's fine that the main is all done. I think probably in total it's cost me about £4,000 to do. I did well over order on the raddle paint and the undercoat for it, so I've got I think 2 whole unopened cans of those left, and I've also got an unopened 5-litre can of zinc phosphate primer. So I could have done it cheaper. it's really difficult working out the amount of paint you're going to need, and I have to say Craftmaster, who I got the Raddle paint from, weren't that helpful on the phone. So, but the point is, because I've got these unopened tins, I can use them again next time. They're not going to go off. I used Dulux Weather Shield system on the boat itself, which I know is not something that some boaters would do, but I also know that other boaters have. So time will tell how it lasts, but the colours are fantastic, so I'm pleased with how it looks. I would never take a boat back to bare metal by hand again. That was the worst bit of this job. It completely defeated me after a few days, and I had to get Angel in, who was great, but even with Angel and Jake coming in, it was a really hard, dusty, nasty job. So if you're going to do it, I would definitely go for the sandblasting. It's got to be as cheap in the end, because you know I had to pay a fair bit out to the lads to come and do the work, and I think, you know, if I was to do it again, I would get it into dry dock, I would get it sandblasted, and then I would just do the actual painting myself, which is fine. You know, I enjoyed that bit of it. You get good pretty quick. You know, when you're doing 57-foot long boat, you pick it up quite quickly. A few things I could have done better, obviously, but on the whole, I think it's come out quite well. So, well, you can make up your mind yourself. I'll show you. So, starting from the bow end, I picked out some of the striped colours and did sections of the bow in those. The sign writer is going to come in on the next sunny day and paint the name of the boat down there on the lime green bit of the bow. She was due in this week, but it was a bit damp, so hopefully in a week or two that will be done. And then coming down the side of the boat, you can see all the lovely stripes. Stern is done with a Delft blue Raddle paint, and then mauve and purple and blue going into the boat. I'll try and get a better shot on the next video when there's no scaffolding, but you get the idea. You're certainly going to see us coming, and I'm really pleased with it. So, time to give my hands a rest, and we'll see you on the next video. I'm not sure when that will be. Hopefully Henry will be able to hobble back down here again in a week or two. But for now, bye and see you soon.